Welcome to the Bob and Chris Show. Actually, I don't think it's really called that, but today it's called that. So, I'm Chris. That's Bob.
I'm
Bob. Yeah, there you go. Today we're going to talk a little bit about secure file transfer and when it may or may not be secure. As in, when there's a 0-day vulnerability and you get hit with ransomware and you get your stuff stolen. So that seems not secure. And there's been two major ones this year. Yeah, and there's been two major ones this year. There's Go Anywhere, and now this one's more interesting right now because it's relevant, a little bit more relevant than Go Anywhere. But this is called Move It Transfer by Progress Software. So, is your team using Move It? Is a good banner. Should you move on from it? Would be another banner.
There we go.
So we'll give you a little bit of we want to talk a little bit about today, like how it happened, what's going on right now, and what are the other things that we can do as organizations to kind of protect against this type of attack. So,
well, Chris, did you just say Move It's a commercially available program?
Yeah.
Okay.
Apparently, the Department of Energy uses it. Oops. University of Georgia, Johns Hopkins, all victims. Shell Corporation, yeah, where you go get your gas over in the UK. Yep, they got hit. Nova Scotia, the country, I guess not the country, but the province. Yeah, all hit. There's well over 100 victims according to Clop ransomware.
That we know of.
Threat group. Yeah, that we know of, right. They published like 13 of them. They also said that they weren't going to leak government data, but I mean, do we believe them? Probably not. But there's probably no benefit to like, at least from the United States perspective. They will never pay the ransom, so there's probably little benefit of leaking it other than just making the U.S. very angry with you. So let's kind of cover a little bit of how it happened. So the way that Move It works is it's installed on a Windows server and it's exposed to the internet. And it allows people to use a portal to securely transfer files. And like a lot of companies at certain sizes, they decide that they want to use commercially available off-the-shelf software and host it themselves because they feel it's cheaper than cloud, or they feel it's cheaper than like alternative solutions in the cloud. The risk you run when you do that is you expose your entire organization, if you don't have proper segmentation, to being hit with ransomware, being hit with like some sort of attack, and that's kind of what happened with Move It. They exfiltrated all this data. They used a SQL injection, which is, we won't get too deep into SQL injection, but it's a simple attack that can be done over the web, and they were able to get access and do what's called remote code execution on the servers and pretty much execute whatever code they wanted.
Well, the thing with SQL, let's just stick on SQL injection for a second. We're not going to go deep on it, but it's nothing new. It's been around for 25 years, and it's been exploited for 25 years.
Yeah, and you can do it multiple different ways. It sounds like the Clop group, they actually sat on this since 2021. They started doing manual recon in 2021. They started doing some automated probing in 2022, and it just didn't hit till May of 2023. So they've been sitting on this for almost 2 years, trying to figure out how they could use it to basically make money, steal data, encrypt, and make money. So if anybody thinks that hacking groups or APTs, advanced persistent threats, are not patient, that's not true at all. They can be very patient. And this is one of the cases where they're patient. So it gets worse. This actually gets worse. There's another vulnerability that's been discovered in their code after doing a code review that has not been used in the wild. They don't have a patch for it yet. Well, they don't think it's been used in the wild. But if one of the other 0 days hadn't been used for 2 years in the wild, what do you think the chances that they don't know about this one, right? So what do? It seems like just the security, and we can't comment on individual companies or anything like that because we don't know their entire situation. But when something like this happens, if you can't detect it, which is it's kind of hard for a 0 day, but for like certain SQL injections, and then the stuff that happens after the SQL injection, like if they're moving throughout your network and things like that, if you can't detect that, that becomes a very big problem. And in this case, you get data stolen, you get hit with ransomware, other things happen, and then you're in the situation where you end up on a list on a dark website and they want $10 million for a ransom that you may or may not pay. And the data is going to get leaked. So depending on what industry you're in, this could be very catastrophic to you.
Absolutely.
So because there's some banks involved too. There's banks involved.
We've actually seen people spinning up their own servers in the past. People put up an FTP server. This really is nothing. This really is a fancy FTP server for the Move It side, where the whole thing got indexed by Google. So that was even a bigger breach.
Yeah, and there's always an inherent risk to everything. We're not trying to say that you shouldn't use stuff like this. What we're saying is that when you put stuff on the internet like that, you're taking a risk, and you need to make sure that you have the other defense in depth pieces in place so that when something like this happens, you can, exactly. You can detect it and then you can respond against it and hopefully limit the blast radius, which, CLOP is pretty advanced. So maybe you aren't going to be able to detect everything that they were doing. We'll see more as more data comes out, I'm sure Mandy will get involved in this, but as more information comes out, we'll have to see how each of these failed. Where did they fail? Did they fail because they couldn't detect it, or was it so advanced that it was actually evading detection? And we'll get more from it, but either way, it's kind of crazy, and it's nuts that this has been something that's been going on for almost 2 years.
Yeah,
and then they finally hit.
Yeah, we switching the topic now for a second here. I actually posted something this week. There was a New Jersey town that got hit with that wound up paying $287,000 to a vendor that had been compromised. I'm not sure if it was a compromised vendor or it was a fake vendor. Someone
did an invoice manipulation situation.
Yeah, it was invoices that came in, and it was paid over the course of 2 years. The insurance, believe it or not, the insurance company actually made whole on it. Yeah. So the cyber insurance paid on this one for some reason. I don't know why, but apparently
$200,000. That makes sense. Yeah.
What's that?
$200,000 makes sense because I'm thinking about recent insurance changes where they limit wire fraud stuff to maybe 20-25% of the total policy value. So
true. But
that's pretty good.
Yeah. So there was, like I said, there was a comment in the article that it said that senior moment.
Very good.
Never mind. I lost my train on that one. Anyway, that's the problem with doing things live here. The article did say it went on for 2 years. They paid off. Turns out it was to the same. The accounts were actually created that they were sending to were over on the same bank that I saw the other fraud on too last year. The bank that allowed people to sign up, create accounts without all the proper documentation. Yeah.
Don't do business with that bank.
No, I'm not even commenting what the bank is because
seems like a not good bank to do business with. And there's a bank around here that got hit with two. They got hit with it was another secure file transfer a couple years ago. They lost people's social security numbers because it was they had a vulnerability and they hadn't upgraded to the new version and they got hit. And they got hit with something else later on, but it's kind of scary, man. We're dealing with banking here. We're dealing with people's lives, and we're seeing insurance companies get hit with ransomware and stuff leaks. So they're trying to tell us that we have to do certain things, and then you look and you're like, well, are you really doing what you're telling us that we all have to do? It doesn't seem like it. But
so sometimes people will spend a lot of money, invest in fancy hardware today, like high-end routers for high-end firewalls for their office environment, and then just let them sit there.
That's fair. Also, since you want to bring up firewalls, let's talk about Fortinet for a second. They've had 2 major 0 days in 3 months, and this last one, so they patched the one. There's now a patch available for this one, but people aren't patching it, I guess. If you use a Fortinet firewall to protect your business, and you use the SSL VPN feature of it to get into resources, hackers can basically bypass that and create a super user account called it's called the Fortinet-tech-support. They're creating on the firewalls. So Fortinet had to warn the people about this. It's basically a super admin, and they can do it. Even if you have multi-factor authentication turned on for authenticating to your firewall, they just bypass it. and then they could create this super user account, which then obviously can do whatever it wants. A super admin can do whatever it wants. So it's like,
And they named it like Fortinet tech support. So
yeah.
like, oh yeah, okay, it's there.
Yeah, and if you and this kind of goes back to like we talk a little bit about like why you should engage with like somebody who's a professional and things like that. And I get it. Like when you're running like an internal IT department, and it's tough enough to just do the IT part, but to actually understand the security part of it as well is incredibly difficult. If you don't have the time to do it, if you don't have the time to study, the time to keep up on this, really partnering with somebody is really the way to go. And I'm in a book that got published this week, pretty much just saying that. I don't want to drop that, but like
you just did.
Yeah, I did. I wrote a chapter in it, and I put a video out the other day about it. But it's called CyberTalk Prevention: Why Your IT Department Must Partner with a Third-Party Cybersecurity Firm. And I wrote the anatomy of a cyber attack, and I kind of wrote about different kill chains and the way that they work and things like that. So if you want to check it out, it'll be on Amazon. You can look for me. I'm actually listed as one of the authors. But it's important to just kind of partner in that. And like we're finding more and more companies that we're partnering with for that reason. Like they have internal IT and they just need help. You know, they need solutions and they need help. So.
And Chris, I had a call this week with a company that had, I don't know, 100, almost 200 computers. And the guy was like, oh yeah, I was asked this year to put a budget together for cyber. He goes, do you think $1,500 a month is enough?
For how many?
200.
So he's like $7 and something a piece?
Yeah.
Well, this is longer. This could be a long conversation.
It's a much longer. That'd be a good call for next week. But,
yeah. First of all, let's talk about, just for a second. This is a good topic to bring up real quick. Let's talk about budgeting. If you're going to budget your entire IT department, your entire IT, and then take a portion of that and set it aside towards cyber. So in enterprise, a typical enterprise spends about $600 a month on a user for everything. IT. I'm talking about internet, PC, security, software, things like that. It's right around $600 a month, and it's going up. So if you think that for $7 a month you're going to get a solution, that's not accurate. But that's a portion. Let's say you take even 10%, or you take 15% of your overall budget. Let's say you base off $600 a month. You're looking at $60 to $90 a month just on the cyber side, which isn't out of the realm of possibility. Now, if you're paying $300 a month, it is, you might be still looking at that 60 to 100. It depends on what type of business you are. If you're regulated, it's going to be more. It depends on what industry you're in. But like we've seen this over and over again, where people will look at like the budgets that we give, and if we come in there and it's like $250 or $300 a user, they say that's insane. It's not. If you actually budget all of your IT, if you take all the stuff that you do for IT and you put it all together, it's probably going to approach $600. Between all the software you need to buy, the internet you need to pay for, PCs, hardware, printers, all that stuff goes into a budget. It's probably going to be $600 a month. Yeah, it sounds insane, but it's realistic. Yeah. And it's probably going to be higher because cyber really is taking a bigger portion of the budget, which means the budget's going to have to keep going up. Unless you strategically talk to somebody and you're able to reduce some of your other costs, like maybe you can extend the lifetime of your hardware by using more cloud services and things like that. Like there's some things you can play with, and maybe you can keep that budget similar. But yeah, this is a good thing to talk about. We're halfway through the year, and you're going to be making budgets soon. And maybe we should do a full episode on that, but we'll leave it at that.
We're at 14 minutes now,
yeah,
so
it's fine.
Someone's got to get back to work.
Hey, people listen to podcasts that are 2 hours long. I can sit here and talk for 2 hours, but I don't think anybody wants to hear that. So
I've listened to you for 2 hours before. Huh? We can move on.
Yeah, that's hey, that's not nice. That's mean. Oh, by the way, happy Father's Day.
Thank you.
The only thing I'm a father of is my second dog, so I don't think it counts for me.
Oh, Riley counts. Riley won't let you forget that he's there.
I got a scar from last night. I got a cut in my arm from last night playing with Riley. No. It's a death match every day with him. He loves it. We have so much fun. So
Sadie's going to be happy soon. We're going to fence the backyard.
Oh, dogs gonna go crazy.
Yep.
Doesn't have to be buckled up to the zip line.
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
It's almost 400 feet of fence that's gone in.
Oh. Ooh.
Yeah.
That's
Ooh.
Speaking of budgets, everybody, Bob has a big fence budget. Yes, let's go.
I didn't have a fence budget. That just showed up.
Bob has a fence budget now. He went over budget. All right. Everybody if you're a father, have a happy Father's Day. If you're not a father, it's okay. You don't have to be. I'm not. I have a dog. So
you're a father.
Essentially I have to walk him. I take care of him. Like he's like a 3-year-old. So it's like a permanent 3-year-old.
There you go.
But
anyway,
yeah, everybody have a good weekend. And drop a comment down below. Let us know if you want us to talk about something specific. If you see something in the news, DM us, hit us up, let us know. We'll talk about it. And until next time, stay cyber safe. See?